Hi, this is Dave Marble. I'm the CEO of OSHEAN, and I'm pleased to be here with Jim Monti, the Director of IT for West Warwick School Systems. Jim has been a longtime innovator in the school systems and has known OSHEAN through the RINET days from way back when.
Makes me old, Dave.
Does that make us both old? We're old. Jim has recently done a massive implementation of Chromebooks for the students in a one-to-one system at West Warwick. And Jim, I know it's not in a nutshell, but in a nutshell, how has the experience been?
For our school district, it's always been about using technology to communicate, collaborate, and create content. And going one-to-one with Chromebooks in our district really has brought kids into this whole space where they're communicating all the time with each other, with their teachers, they're collaborating, and they're creating content. So it's really been a really powerful opportunity for our kids. And we come from a really disadvantaged community in terms of the financial resources of our parents and the town itself. So this opportunity really has been a whole family opportunity. We are actually, the devices go home, and we've actually asked parents to use the devices to access the Department of Labor and of Training website and the resources that they have so they can improve their skill set. Not only are we working on the students, but also the whole family.
That's great. The question immediately comes to mind when we either throw technology at the parents and or the teachers. How did you bring the pedagogy or teaching and learning side into the technology so we weren't just giving them some device and the teachers now can actually teach through the device as opposed to just having this thing?
Our teachers have been using technology in our school district to do that for a while, right? So we have...
not to interrupt, but you were a pioneer in the e-portfolio side of the bit, right? In doing that.
I don't know if I was a pioneer.
I think actually, quite honestly, from a timing perspective, I think you were.
So, right? So I mean, we've really looked at using tools, and even our partnership with OSHEAN has been about using the tools for real purposes. So it's not just about kids being able to go to Netflix or accessing and consuming the web. It's been about them participating and actually creating. And I like to tell folks that our district has been, we're structure rich but resource poor in many regards. So we've actually had to create a lot of content ourselves as teachers in our school district. So this really, because that's been part of who we have been for such a long time, once we could get the devices into the hands of kids, it was this really easy synergy, not for everyone,
natural.
And it was this really natural thing that took place. So we still have folks that we're kind of helping to bring along, but it's kind of a really powerful thing when a teacher and a kid's working on a piece of writing and their teacher can give them immediate feedback while they're writing, right? So they're not handing it in and then they're giving them feedback, or when another classmate of theirs can give them feedback. It has this transformative, almost like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole career, to be able to have that kind of interaction, not with just one kid at a time, but with my entire classroom. Because before, I actually had to do it with the kids in the classroom in a fixed period of time. So I could only have that kind of relationship with 4 or 5 kids in a period. And now there aren't those same boundaries, right? So our kids and our teachers can kind of have those aha moments together, sometimes asynchronously and sometimes synchronously, virtually at the same time, even though they may not be in the same space. So it's pretty powerful.
And let's talk a little bit about, you would look at it from afar and say, wow, I've got to deploy, a few thousand of these Chromebooks out, and I've got an IT staff of this big, but you've told me that you know, it actually has helped in a number of areas like security and that kind of thing from a more a difficult challenge before with Microsoft and platforms and all that stuff.
Right. So, you know, we've, even though I think we'd love to think that we do a good job of security in K-12 space or a good job of data storage in the K-12 space, when it really comes down to it, I know that in our district we've always struggled with that. We've always struggled with upgrading the hardware infrastructure. We've always struggled with actually having all of the patches in place that we need to have in place. You know, that's why the relationship with OSHEAN has really always been important, because there were some things that we didn't have to do. You know, we didn't have to put our own firewall in place, because it would be really probably a firewall full of a lot of holes, right? So we didn't have to do all of those things. And this tool that we have, the Google Management Console, allows us to push things out to everyone immediately. So we had our students participate in a survey. We put the survey out yesterday. I could make that survey available to them once they popped open their Chromebook. It was available to them. They could work on it right there. And in a day, we had, you know, over 800 students participate in that survey. So, you know, we can push those things out. And as far as security goes, you know, it's a huge thing that we're all worried about. The more we give kids access to devices, the more issues that we could have regarding security. And one of the nice things about these tools is, so if a kid loses a tool or it's stolen, we can basically brick it. They get a message that pops up on the screen when they flip the lid that says, it's been reported as lost or stolen. Please return it. We can also geolocate it. So, you know, you can keep it on, but we'll find you.
Right. Excellent. Well, Jim, I really appreciate the time, and I reiterate my my love for the support that you've given OSHEAN well before I ever got here. So I appreciate your time.
Well, it's really been a great partnership. I think that's, you know, part of the mission of OSHEAN has always been about creating a place where we make each other smarter, you know, and that we're not by ourselves. So I think that that's essential, not only to the K-12 space, but you know, everyone that's part of the OSHEAN partnership, whether it's higher ed or it's part of the healthcare system or the state services. That really, I mean, if we can't do this in Rhode Island, you know, then it can't be done. And I really think that there's a lot of opportunity for us to be a leader. You know, I think we're a quiet leader in terms of that in the country. I don't think everyone's really realized that, but when we have events like today, I think you start to see, whether it's in the healthcare industry or in K-12 or in higher ed, that there's a lot of opportunity for us to just keep making each other smarter.
Appreciate it. Thank you
All right,
very much.
Thanks.